she's
Mine's
doing.
only like 5 minutes. 8
Yeah,
minutes.
we're all like kind of 5 minutes-ish.
Okay, good.
Excellent. We're rolling. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to BWE's Entrepreneurial Workshop Series featured at Riverhead Town Hall. So first and foremost, we want to thank our town supervisor, Sean Walter, for making this possible in partnership with Chris Kempner from the CDA and all their wonderful economic development and business resources that they have here in the town of Riverhead. And it pleases me to return here to the town of Riverhead under the leadership of Sean Walter and Chris, because they identify how valuable economic development is, small business resources, and to grow and develop the small business community. So with that, I want to introduce my organization, BWE, that's an acronym for Black Women Enterprises. The long name is the New York State Association of Black Women-Owned Enterprises. The short is BWE. And BWE was started over 23 years ago under then Governor Mario Cuomo, who did a disparity study. And unfortunately, when he conducted this disparity study, he could not demonstrate Black women's participation in state procurement. In other words, Black women at the time, Black people were 14% of the state's population, but Black women didn't even participate 1%. They couldn't even show their participation in a pie diagram, if you will. So he said, this makes no sense to me. Where are the Black women business owners? So he calls then Assemblywoman Earlene Hill Hooper, and she says, don't worry, Governor, I'm on it. I'll contact Phyllis Hill Slater, who's my mom, Phyllis Hill Slater, the founding chairperson of Black Women Enterprises, who's also here with us today. And my mom started to name off the Black women business owners individually. And Assemblywoman Hooper said, no, that's not what the governor wants. He wants to know, where do they meet? Where do they swap trade secrets? Where do they come together and, grow and develop their businesses? And they realized there was not an organization in place at that time for entrepreneurs or business growth and development for that segment. So the governor's response was short and sweet, start one. And under that, and under my mom's leadership, Phyllis Hill Slater, was the birth of Black Women Enterprises. And that's over 23 years ago. And unfortunately today, Black women are still unidentified, underserved, and underutilized in state procurement and private sector procurement. So they're still at the bottom rung. So that's one of the reasons why we carry the name BWA. However, although our mission is to identify and remove the barriers that impede the success of a Black women-owned enterprise in private sector and public sector procurement, educate, advocate, promote equal access to capital, and help identify all the tools and resources she needs to succeed, we are an inclusive organization and we serve everyone, men and women, regardless of race, which I'm very proud to be the president of BWA with that kind of a mission. And today I'm here with two dynamic women who bring tons of resources to the small business community at large, for both men and women, regardless of race. So first I'd like to introduce Jill Clough-Johnston, and she runs the Small Business Development Center at Brookhaven National Labs. Jill, tell us something about it, please.
Okay, it's the small business program at the lab, and I am very happy to say that last year, fiscal year 2016, we spent $73 million with small businesses across the country. That's broken down further to small disadvantaged business, which is minority. We spent 4.6% or $6.5 million. Women-owned businesses, we spent 7.4%, and that's the percentage of our total procurement spend for that year, for the whole laboratory. And women-owned, that was $10.6 million was spent with women-owned businesses.
Wow.
HubZone, historically underutilized businesses, was 3.7% or 5.3 million, and service disabled 1.4%, 2 million, and veteran was 2.9 million or 4.1. I'm sorry, 4.1 million, 2.9%.
Wow. So those are some big numbers, millions and billions and gazillions of dollars spent with different demographics of small business. But how does a small business do business with the Brookhaven National Laboratory? What's the first step?
Well, first you have to sell something that we buy. There are a number of things that we do not buy because we have our own departments, or we're not allowed to buy it, or we just don't buy it.
Well, what are some of the commodities Brookhaven National Laboratory
Does buy.
purchases? Yes.
Obviously, computers, scientific equipment, staffing. We do not buy IT services because we have our own department. We buy everything that a small town would buy because we are the small town of Upton, New York,
Very
which is
interesting.
exit 68 on the LIE on William Floyd Parkway.
What about services? What kind of services do you utilize?
We buy some consulting services, scientific consulting and business consulting.
Some of the
Tree
ladies and
removal, things
some
like
of the
that.
ladies and gentlemen here today, one of them is a small business owner that has a cleaning company. Do you utilize cleaning services?
No, because we have our own staff
Mhm.
that does cleaning.
What about rubbish removal, construction? How does that work?
Yes, construction we buy, quite a bit of construction.
So if someone has a construction company and they'd like to do business with Brookhaven National Laboratory, what do you recommend he or she do to get on your radar screen so that they even know about the bids coming out and the opportunities?
There are two buyers that buy construction, and everything should come through me. And I can help you put you in touch with the buyers and how to proceed. Construction is a specific area where they have to be specially bonded.
Correct.
We're very strict on safety.
As you should be.
Right.
But I think that's something that the small business understands. The small business community is highly regulated now, and they have high standards of safety, and they have to be cost effective and efficient in order to be competitive and to succeed.
Right.
So let's just say a construction company wants to do business. Is there a website they can go to register or to get on the radar screen so that you know they exist?
The small business program has a website, and all the requirements for doing construction work at the laboratory are on there.
Wonderful.
And they have to go before a board and be approved first, and they get on what's called a BOA, a basic ordering agreement.
Excellent. So that's very important information. What is the website, please? We're getting to the nitty gritty, people. You know?
www.bnl, as in Brookhaven National Lab, .gov/PPM, Procurement Property Management, SDB, Small Disadvantaged Business, /default.ASP, Apple Sam Peter. And that will take you right. SDB /default, DEFAULT.ASP as in Peter. And you can have one of my cards, which has that right on there.
You know, it might seem a little cumbersome, but basically you want to visit Brookhaven National Laboratory, you want to visit the small business programs, you want to give Jill a call, you want to get on her radar screen, and you want to make a meeting with her. Come in, introduce your company, bring your capability statement, talk about your history, your licenses, your current insurance, and how you can get that BOA agreement. You know, these are the first steps. So now you'll be on their radar screen so you can sell your services to Brookhaven National Laboratory. That was some very valuable information, Jill. Stay here, don't go anywhere. We're going to
Not going.
switch over to Roz for a minute, and then we're going to come back to you because we're going to
Okay.
have more questions.
Okay.
And now it's a great pleasure to introduce Roz Goldmacher of Long Island Development Corporation and Liz Back, Long Island Small Business Assistance Corporation. And Roz has some great information and business resources and access to capital for the small business community at large so they can grow and develop their business without being underfunded. Roz?
Thank you, Gina. It's a pleasure to be here today. Long Island Development Corporation is a 38-year-old not-for-profit economic development organization based here on Long Island. We provide loans to small businesses under various government programs. We're not a substitute for conventional lenders such as banks and credit unions. We're a supplement. If you as a small business can walk into your bank or your credit union and get everything you need on terms you can afford, you don't need my organization. But 95% of the businesses here on Long Island can't do that. So what we do is we supplement what the banks do, or sometimes we substitute. And we have various programs under state and federal programs that provide financing that is affordable for entrepreneurs. And our financing programs range from our microloan, called LISBAC, Long Island Small Business Assistance Corp., which makes loans up to $25,000, long-term, fixed interest rate for any small business, and we define that as under 100 employees, based or to be based in Nassau or Suffolk, and it can be a startup or an existing business, and it can be used for any business purpose. And I mentioned that it's long-term. The longer you have to pay a loan back, obviously, the easier it is on your cash flow each month. Typically, banks are short-term lenders. They will lend to you for working capital 1 to a maximum of 3 years. Whereas under LISBAC, we can lend up to 7 to 10 years for working capital. So it gives you a much longer time to pay back. It's less money each month. The LISBAC loans are fixed at 5%. They're self-amortizing, and there's no prepayment penalty. And as I mentioned, they can be used whether you're a startup business or whether you're existing. Now keep in mind, lenders typically look at any business less than 3 years old as being a startup. So as a non-traditional or government-related lender, our purpose is economic development. We're here to help small businesses, help create jobs, help to positively impact our communities. And that's why we're willing to lend to startups. The other program that we're currently lending under is the New York State Targeted Loan Fund. It is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Commerce and its Economic Development Administration, as well as New York State. It is a loan program that is geared for what we consider to be high-growth industries here on Long Island, and that includes manufacturers of any type, certain types of wholesalers who are in biomedical, pharmaceutical, high-end electronics, computer software, computer graphics, computer hardware, also in environmental or transportation technology, commercial fishermen. If you're not in one of those categories, but you are a wholesaler, and you are certified by New York State as being minority or woman-owned, you're also eligible for this loan program. So under that loan program, we can lend up to $500,000, $500,000. It's also a long-term program for working capital, 7 to 10 years. For capital assets such as machinery, equipment, buildings, we can go out 20 years. It is fixed rate, 4% fixed rate, self-amortizing, no prepayment penalty. These loans can stand alone, or if you need more money than we can provide, it can be part of a larger financing project. Many times a bank will look at you and say, well, based on your financials, based on your industry, based on our criteria, we can't lend you everything you need, but we can lend part if another lender will come in and participate. So we can bring in the New York State Targeted Loan Fund to do part of the financing, in which case we take a subordinate position to the bank, and that often induces them to do something they otherwise would not. Those are our two main loan programs at Long Island Development Corporation. But one of the things that we do for small businesses is help you access capital from other resources. We have had experience lending under the U.S. Small Business Administration loan programs, under HUD small business programs, under New York State Job Development Authority, and a variety of government-related loan programs. And so because of that experience, we'll be happy to look at your financing need or your project and help you structure the appropriate financing and refer you to the right people. We also provide seminars for small businesses, many of those in combination with BWE. And we invite you to look at our website to see the calendar of events, as well as our list of loan products. Our website.
Talk about New York Community Bank's current program that we're doing together.
Sure.
Because it's ongoing and it's an opportunity for you to participate right now. And it's a great initiative, and it's actually from the FDIC Smart Money Series, and they've combined it. They've taken, it's really 12 programs, and they combined it down to 4. And LISBEC, LIDC, and BWE has partnered together to bring our applicants, our members, our small business community members together to participate. And they're going over some great information.
Well, I'm glad you asked me to talk about that program. This is, and there's a flyer here that you can take about this program. It's called the FDIC Money Smart for Small Business Workshop. And as Gina indicated, it's a series of 4 workshops. We ran a series in Hicksville last summer, and now we're running a series in Wyandanch. We had a seminar on banking services and cash flow, and the next one is November 1st on financial management and November 8th on credit reporting. These are free seminars, and they really get into depth, a lot of one-on-one discussion about your particular needs, great instructors, and we're happy to have BWE and many co-sponsors joining together because it's such a wonderful series, and hopefully we'll be bringing more of the FDIC Money Smart series modules to Long Island in the future.
What I love most about this particular program we're doing is New York Community Bank really brought in subject matter experts that speak plain English. And we are engaging with the small business owners, the people that are signing by the X and signing the checks. And they're getting a greater understanding of their financial responsibilities, their credit history, their personal, and how it affects the business, and how to access capital more effective and efficiently. And more importantly, how to access capital before the need arises. So they're doing lots of things with forecasting and projections, and it can be a little, maybe it's not their shtick, it's not their thing. But guess what? If you're running a business and you're signing by the X, you gotta learn it. And they make it very simple and easy to digest. And it makes, all of the businesses have gotten strengthened from this process. So I recommend everyone, if you have an opportunity to participate in one of these Money Smart programs, please do. Even myself as a seasoned entrepreneur, there are things that I'm learning from it, and so it's extremely valuable, and it's at no cost to you as well. Roz?
Well, I also wanted to mention a couple of other programs that BWE is participating in as a sponsor. One of them is a free seminar on financing and technical resources for women-owned businesses, which will take place in Melville on November 3rd. And another one is a boot camp for minority and women-owned businesses as well as veteran-owned businesses, taking place on November 15th. And that boot camp will talk about access to capital, marketing your business, getting certified as a woman, minority, or veteran-owned business, going out and getting government and private sector contracts.
Oh, that boot camp is done by the Nassau County Controller's Office, George Maragos. Oh, that's a wonderful program. It's huge. It is growing. The registrations are coming in by the day. Excuse me, another program at no cost to you that Nassau County is really putting out there because they're looking to engage in the small business community and get some good economic development and credible business information to you.
And it is open to Suffolk County businesses.
Absolutely.
And we're all speaking at it.
Yes, we're all participating, and we'll all be panelists at the program. And once again, it's going to be great, credible business information, a lot of subject matter experts, a lot of resources, a lot of one-stop shopping on how to do business with the right way. You'll be able to meet with buyers, the decision makers, etc., and how to register your business, how to certify your business to get on the radar screen to be included for future procurement opportunities, whether it's RFPs or bids, etc. So I'm very excited to be a part of that program.
All of these seminars are listed on our website at www.bwebs.org. LIDC.org. That's www.LIDC, standing for Long Island Development Corporation, LIDC.org. And you can look at our calendar of events to see all of these upcoming seminars. And you can also see our listing of loan products, as well as a listing of resources for small businesses here on Long Island, ranging from loans, government-related loans, free technical assistance and counseling, and even information for nonprofits on grants that are available.
I think this is wonderful. You know, the number one obstacle for a woman business owner is first to be taken seriously, regardless of race. That's the number one obstacle. The second obstacle for a woman business owner is access to capital, regardless of race. So, we're trying to bring the resources to you, and so that you can access information, the good information, the people that are already committed to partner with you, and that understand where you're coming from, and that, you may have heard no before. But this is an opportunity. Please take it seriously, and please utilize it. And the best time to access capital is before the big need arises. Find out now. Do a dry run. Make sure you know where your credit history stands, what your personal credit score is, because it does impact the business. LISBAC is fortunate enough to embrace, starting startups. But you know what? No one just starts up. There is a history somewhere, and they want to know about how well you take care of your household, because it does impact how well you will take care of your business. So you have to take it seriously, guys. And I just want to emphasize that. And once again, LISBAC is for men and women, regardless of race.
And I want to emphasize a point you just made about personal credit,
Yes,
as well as your
please.
business credit. You should take advantage of the free credit report every 12 months. And also, if you're working with some of the alternative government lenders or with the counseling centers that are out there for business, they can pull what is called a soft credit report on you, which does not show up as an inquiry on your credit report.
So it's not a hard hit.
Right. Every time someone pulls a credit report on you, it shows up, and that impacts your credit.
Actually pulls down your score a little bit too.
But a soft pull does not impact your credit because it doesn't show up. So that's something that you may want to look to get.
Excellent. Thank you, Roz. Jill, any programs coming up at Brookhaven National Labs? I know in the past you've done a lot of outreach programs, whether they're for women or small business, and displays. People come and set up booths and things like that. Do you have anything coming up on the calendar?
We have coming up in the controllers seminar.
Excellent.
On November 15th. Then usually every April I do a large procurement fair type of thing. And the last couple of years it's been specific to certain types of small businesses. This year I think I'm going to try and do one for all types of small businesses.
Jill's
And that
being
will
a
be in
little
April.
modest. She says it's a small program that she does. It's a significant program that they do out at Brookhaven National Laboratory. And they bring in small businesses from all over Long Island and the city, believe it or not. Everyone
And the
wants
country.
all over the country. And they come to really get this great information because it's a huge undertaking. But again, I like these things that are like one-stop shopping for great business resources, incredible information. And you get an opportunity to do that face-to-face, one-on-one, and really meet and greet people. And so what do you think April's will look like this year?
It'll be for all small businesses.
Wonderful.
And I want to stress that you're not in this alone. There are quite a few organizations that can act as your mentors for free. One is the Procurement Technical Assistance Program. I used to work at that program for Roz. And Roz was a fantastic mentor to me. But they will teach you how to navigate federal, state, and local governments. They'll have an electronic bid matching service. They do one-on-one counseling. And the closest one now is in Long Island City. it's not that bad of a drive. I've done it quite a few times.
It's long, it's
Yeah,
far,
it is.
and it's in the city. It's in Long Island City. It's not in Nassau or Suffolk. Unfortunately, there's a void in that service for our region.
Right.
You know, it would be lovely if we had one back on the island. I'm sure everyone would agree. So we don't have to schlep into Long Island
Well,
City.
they occasionally come out to Long Island to do seminars.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
contact information for the LaGuardia Procurement Technical Assistance Center is contained in the handout here called Value Added Resources. It has the contact information for that as well as the other programs you'll be hearing about today.
But the other mentor would be the small business development centers, and there's one at Farmingdale College and Stony Brook, and they are also free, and they will help people with starting a business. They'll hold your hand through the whole process.
And the
So that's what I
SBDCs
do.
Right.
I'm sorry, refer a lot of people. I don't do that anymore, but I refer them to who can help you, and basically for free.
And those,
Excellent.
the small business development centers are listed as well in the value added resource list with the contact information. The SUNY Stony Brook one also has offices in Southampton, in Brookhaven Town Hall, and in multiple locations, as well as the Farmingdale has locations all throughout their region. There's a third organization that you may want to consider, and that is SCORE, Service Corps of Retired Executives. SCORE is an arm of the U.S. Small Business Administration, and it consists of some 14,000 counselors nationally. They're called mentors, and these are retired and currently working men and women who have expertise that they want to share. And they can be your mentors. They can help you put the business plans together, and just go to scorelongisland.org, and that's listed in this value-added resource list as well.
They actually have their program at the Riverhead Library.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, that's right. I spoke with Steve Gold the other day, and he said that there is a chapter out here in Riverhead, and he did mention the Riverhead Library. Have you guys been utilizing it?
They had it at Town Hall years ago, when I first got out of the military,
Wonderful.
back in 1999.
SCORE has counseling locations all over Long Island, and they also do seminars at many of the libraries and town halls throughout the island.
What I think is wonderful about SCORE is, you know, SCORE is an acronym, and it stands for the Service Corps of Retired Executives. So what happens is you have individuals that have dedicated a whole career to a certain industry. And now that they've been successful and they've retired, now this is their way of giving back. So they take their expertise and share it. Usually they're partnered with someone who's coming up out of the same industry they've retired with. So if you're fortunate enough to get partnered with someone in your industry, it can work out extremely well. But I just want to stress, free isn't always free, people. You know, if you're in business, this is for the big boys and the big girls, okay? There needs to be an operating budget. This is not a handout program, right? We're in it to make money. And we're in it to support fellow business owners. So that means if we're going to start a business, let's just talk about the do's and some of the don'ts. You're going to hire an accountant. You're going to hire an attorney, right? And you want to bring them on board now before your sales really grow and before you get all these leases and you're purchasing property and you're coming to do all these big financing deals and all these big procurement deals with Brookhaven National Lab. You want to partner with them. They don't rule you. They're your partners. They're your legal advice and your accounting advice. And guess what? If they're not giving you good advice and if they haven't truly partnered to grow and develop your business, get another one. Does that make sense? It's called Next.
That applies to your counselors too at these programs too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want you guys to know that. That's why it's so important to have that operating budget. You know, there's all this myth that when you start a business, if you're a woman or a minority, there's all this free money. Huh? There is no free money to start a business. A woman, a person of color, starts their business just like their white counterpart. They save, they borrow money from their family, they eat a lot of chicken soup, they do what they gotta do to pay the bills and get her done. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's no, you know, that stairway to success, everyone takes the stairs. everyone takes the stairs. You know? And if you're a for-profit business entity, there are these grants that you think they are. You know, it's always great to hear about someone's story that they'd love to start a business and help other people. But at the end of the day, you're looking to make money and increase that bottom line, correct? And you want to grow and develop your business in a healthy manner. And you want all the best resources that can be loyal to you to grow and develop your business. I do suggest getting registered to do business with Suffolk County, with Nassau County. I do suggest getting certified to do business if it applies to you and your demographic. Jill had mentioned the DBE certification. That's a federal certification. You can go to the federal government's website and learn more about that. And if you need technical assistance because you're so busy making lots of money, you know, and you don't have time to fill out the paperwork, BWE offers technical assistance for those certifications and business registrations. I'd also like to recommend nwboc.org. That was the first ever private sector certification for women business owners. NWBOC, once you're certified with them, you're allowed to do business with Fortune 1000 companies. Companies like, Marathon Petroleum, CHEP, Wells Fargo, Disney, AT&T, just to name a few. So those are some big companies, you know, General Mills, you know, these are Cargill, these are some big names. They have their own private industry, private sector procurement process for men, for women, for people of color, and for veterans. And that too is very important. You want to balance your sales. It's nice to go after the public sector work, but it's really nice to have some private sector work, you know, on your balance sheet too. So that this way you have them both going on at the same time. Does that make sense, guys? Wonderful. The other programs I'd like to share with you as a business resource is BWE has ongoing business development webinars. We do them at lunchtime, at high noon, if you will. They're only 45 minutes long. And these programs are designed for people who can't come out and attend the Entrepreneurial Workshop Series. So this way, they can call in or they can pull up their GoToMeeting software, and for 45 minutes, they can participate and get credible business information. Right now, we have Shelley Braisley from Nassau County Office of Minority Affairs, and she's partnered with us to do a series on Section 3 HUD certification, how to get certified with New York State, Empire State Development, how to do business with Nassau County and go through their registration. And the final one will be talking about, now that you're registered and certified, how to market that registration and business certification. So I suggest everyone take a look at this. Now, how are you going to find out about BWE's programs? Well, this sounds trivial, but it's called go to Facebook, look at Twitter. I think on Twitter we're BWE 1993. At Facebook we're Black Women Enterprises. Like us, friend us, follow us, do all those things, get on our radar screen so we can stay in communication with you. And please share it with a friend. Does that sound familiar? Okay. And the same thing for the Entrepreneurial Workshop Series. Not only are we doing a series here in partnership with Riverhead, we also do one in the village of Hempstead in Nassau County, and that's located at the Hempstead Public Library. And Roz mentioned the program that we're doing with New York Community Bank, and right now we did one in the summer, really huge success. That's why we did a repeat, and we're in Wine Dance now. And we'll probably continue to do them because we're getting so much great information out. And one of the caveats of that New York Community Bank program is once you've gone through this, it's like a primer to put in an application to borrow funds. You know, also it's an opportunity for you to meet the people at LISBAC, their staff, their team, their loan officers. And now they know you too, and they've learned something about your business. So I know it's difficult to go to all this stuff and all the networking opportunities that come up. How do you select? Well, I say pick the ones that can help you increase your bottom line. I say pick the ones that help grow and develop your business. those are the important ones. And I'd like to think that the programs that BWE puts forth are important programs, and they offer just that, ways of helping you grow and develop your business and increase your bottom line. Any questions?
Well, I have a question. I'm a business partner owner. I work with New York Life Insurance Company, and each individual is their own business.
Yes.
With something like that, Jill, and like you said, you have when you're gonna have a bunch of small businesses setting up.
Right.
Do you, with your small businesses, do you have it where you have multiple businesses under the same category within your group of small businesses?
I have done seminars where I do have the same category, but it's not in what they sell. It's the type of business they are. I have all veterans, or I have all service disabled veterans, or all women owned, or just small business that's open to anybody. But it's not by their product, if that's what you were asking.
Right, but I mean, how do you have any control over that?
Yes.
Because I've been to some workshops or some events where they have tables for many different vendors or many different businesses, and it'd be multiple businesses with this doing the same thing.
No, I try
Like,
not
if
to
you're
do
in the
that.
financial world and you're trying to help businesses develop in that area, but then there's like other companies doing the
Same
exact
thing,
thing.
no. I try not to do that, like I would have one computer company, and I wouldn't have someone selling insurance, because we have a contract, a lab-wide contract with an insurance company for all the employees, and I don't think that comes up for bid for quite a while.
Well, that
So,
would be for other employees within your company, but if you're doing a vendor, like in April, you're gonna have a bunch of small businesses.
right,
But those small businesses are trying to help and work out with each other within that sector.
right.
That wouldn't affect Brookhaven, that would affect the small businesses. So you wouldn't even have someone there in that category for that purpose?
No, no, because what I'm trying to do is trying to get small businesses to the lab, to introduce them to the lab, to introduce the lab to them so they can display their product or service to our employees who are the end users of those products. And then we can place a purchase order with that company, and then we get credit for our small business numbers.
Oh, so that's.
Yeah,
how
if that, if, yeah.
Brenda, if I may,
Understand.
it has only been in the past couple of years, I'd say the past 5 years or so, that New York State, through their Empire State Development certification initiatives for minorities and women-owned operated enterprises, now recognizes the services of accounting, financial services, and real estate. And those were services that the state never had goals for, if you will. So I think this is a great time for you to seek state certification, because your own entity, and I realize that you're a part of a larger name, now qualifies, and they would be able to consider your services. You could be put on that radar screen.
Can I mention something about
Please.
certification?
Please.
What you just said is very correct, but I just want to point out that there's state certification, there's also personal company certification, like the MTA, Port Authority, they have their own certifications also. But federal certification is through the SBA, and there are only 2 categories that are certified. All the other small business categories are self-certifying. So if you're going to be one of our vendors, you will self-certify that you're a woman-owned business. You will self-certify that you are a minority business. However, the only certification would be the SBA 8A program, which is a 9-year program for minorities, not just women, but for all minorities. And then there's a hub zone program that's certified too. But all the other ones are self-certifying for federal.
But don't get it misconfused, because she's saying self-certification. It's the way people in our situation, look at the types of certification, okay? It's just a classification of a certification. It doesn't mean that it's just one paper long and you just write a little letter saying, I'm self-certified as so. It's still the same traditional application. You have to prove with your documentation and business history that your business entity is owned, operated, and directed by whatever demographic that you're stating it's owned, operated, and directed by, and whatever certification you're seeking. So if you're saying you're a women-owned, operated entity, then you have to prove that your business is a minimum of 51% owned, operated, directed by that woman full-time, and that there has to be history stating as so. But just understand that there are many. And if you go through New York State Empire State Development, right now they have a program where as you apply for that one, you can apply for New York City, you can make an application to the Port Authority and to the upstate Greater New York Erie area, the Central New York area simultaneously. So that for that one application, you're almost submitting a total of 4 applications for certification. And certification gets very sophisticated. You know, sometimes people are misled. They think, okay, I'm certified as an MBE, or I'm certified as a WBE, or I'm certified as a VBE, Veterans Business Enterprise. I'm supposed to get the work. No, that doesn't mean that. That just means you're certified as such. Now you have to go and market that certification, and you have to still do the same due diligence you would if you didn't have a certification. You have to meet the buyer, you have to prove that you're a good business, you have to be competitive with your product or service, you know, so it's an added step, and it allows you to participate in a procurement pool that now under Governor Andrew Cuomo is much larger. It's 30% goals. Those are aggressive goals, and he's trying to implement those goals. So that's a nice thing. This is a great time to be certified, but it still comes with the due diligence, and you have to do what you have to do and make those applications and monitor everything. And if something changes in your business ownership, or location, or banking relationship, it's your responsibility to keep that certification agency informed of such. It's very important, so it's a lot of
I
responsibility.
have a question.
Please.
To be certified as a veteran-owned business.
Yes.
I know that's available on the state and the federal level, but on the federal level, is that self-certification, or is there an agency that certifies you as a veteran-owned business?
That is being worked on. It is self-certifying now, but it's in the courts. A service-disabled veteran-owned business can be certified in New York State by the Office of General Services.
Correct. And also, a veteran business enterprise can be certified as such with private sector certification. NWBOC does it as well. So they would go to nwboc.org. Any other questions? Well, I'd like to thank everyone for participating in today's Entrepreneurial Workshop Series. And once again, if you'd like to follow up or contact BWE to get more information, please visit us at www.bwenewyork.org, or email us at info@bwenewyork.org, or give us a call at the office, 516-485-5900. It's a pleasure to be here in Riverhead, and it's always a pleasure to be here to bring great information to you guys. Thank you, ladies, for participating.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you guys next month. And thank you, everyone, for coming out today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.